Oh, hey, let me go get my fancy microphone. Some recipes will say, oh, keep a cool, damp towel around to keep the phyllo moist. I don't find it necessary, but if you do, make sure it doesn't smell like your detergent. You know, maybe segregate a brand new rag and just clean it out with hot water and a little bit of elbow grease. All right, hopefully you can hear me. So, the syrup's cooled down ample enough. Like I said, I put it in there almost straight off the stove. I'm trying to put my fancy mic. There we go. So sorry about the mess. It's not my space. I live in a thrift shop, so cut this thing off. So I've already got them segregated. I just keep that in the foil. Cut it off. Trust me, you know you want to bother trying to rip it. Dump it out. Now I use newspaper as a to keep the mess contained. And when you start unwrapping it, when you get to the actual dough, you'll know. Flip it this way. That's why I got this pan like that. You can do it this way if you want. You can do it left-handed if you want. I don't think it matters. I'm sure there's left-handed Greek people. Okay, just kind of spread this out. It is very supple. And they just immediately, oh, here, I got a bunch of butter. Man, I didn't even follow directions. Hang on. Could I melt it slowly in a pan? I don't know. Does that officially make it clarified? I don't know. Lots of heirlooms. Anyhow, yeah, so just cheap butter. We actually use this. We rinse it off and use it. It's a wax paper. It's kind of neat for all kinds of stuff, even picking up rodents that Pumpkin brings me. Okay, I already told you I did most of the dishes. I saved some for later because I got antsy. So, buttermilk? Nope, not yet. Another thing, when you brush on the butter, some people use those natural bristles. Oh, that's nice. That's butter. No, they're hairs, and if they're really natural, they're hairs, and they'll fall out, whether they're artificial or natural. They'll fall out. This is silicone, I think. It's not going to fall out. And I can leave it right there. Matter of fact, it's got a little bit of melted butter on it. So what we're going to do is we want to butter this dish. Oh, pretty melty. It doesn't have to be 100% right now. The temperature of it will help it keep melting. It's okay to stir it around, and that kind of helps it melt some more. See how it's not completely melted? It's still a little bit of soft lumpiness, and then the more you agitate it, it all blends together. So this is going to look pretty generous as far as butter's concerned. I might need more. I forget. So anyway, boom. Just start this first coat. You want to do the bottom and the sides. Maybe I'll fast forward this part if I learn how to do that in this fancy new free editing thingy I got. Forget what it's called. Not YouTube Studio, that's a YouTube thing. And there might be a tool in there. So anyway, do that and grab a layer, one sheet, aka a layer. I told you this is tedious. It's tedious. And if you can't get one without it kind of falling apart, grab two. Doesn't matter. And then, oh, this is a smaller, either a bigger dish. Oh wow, this dish is actually perfect. Let me know in the comments if you want to know what size it is. Okay, so you got a layer. Spread it on. Try not to tear it. These first 4 layers are extremely important, but sometimes the phyllo dough is not cooperating and it's kind of sticking because you didn't thaw it correctly or you left it in the freezer too long, whatever reason. See, that's starting to get a little wonky, so that's alright. I'll just take both of them. Keep them intact. I like this. Normally I got to do a lot of overlapping and fiddling with it. Oh, how about that? I can get a little bit. Oh, I can get it all. Hello. Butter, butter, butter. Put it back. Doesn't have to be perfect because that first layer was. Let's see, do this end. Are we? No. So it doesn't matter. See that? Ooh, maybe a little extra butter just to wake it up. Okay, so you're going to do this and do this and do this. It's okay to count. It's good to count your layers. There's 4 pieces of phyllo. There's 4, and sometimes you gotta, let it know who's boss. And boom, 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 get back. You don't have to make noises. I find music is pretty good, but up until I met you guys, I didn't have to worry about copyright infringement or anything like that. So, wow, this is a lot easier than what I normally have to do, because I must not have realized that this pan is perfect. I don't even recognize this pan. I'm not in charge of any of the utensils except for my 3 forks and 3 spoons. And I got one, I call it a kitchen knife, a bread and butter knife. Normally I would use my K-bar for everything, but my wife has, she doesn't want me to. So 5 or 6 of these first. Now a lot of times people put the whole ½ pound of phyllo on there. And I don't do that. I wonder what the directions say. Paint, 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 paint. It's like Bob Ross. Place remaining sheets on top one by one. Okay. Combine nets. Place half of the pastry sheets in a greased. Okay. That's to that's the whole ½ pound. So let's go and make it like that. I know what I did. I ended up varying. I get about halfway through, about to there, and then I put not half of the dry mixture, but a good portion of it. Then I do the rest of the layers. I felt like it just made it a little bit more consistent when I cut it. Made it a little easier to cut it too. So yeah, that's what because that phyllo dough, man, it looks really fragile and dainty, and it kind of is. But man, you get a pound of butter in it, man, it gets belligerent. Okay, so just keep. I'm speeding this up, not on the film, but in real life, because I don't care. It's just so easy. Once you've done it, maybe about 100 times, you don't care. Yeah, no, you're probably not going to do that. That means you have to live about another 50 years. Well, since I've learned about baking baklava the right way, yeah, it's been 45 years, or 40, over 40. So, yep. So, I don't have to worry about that stuff. I do like having just the reassurance that, oh man, my brain still works, because I'll remember the ingredients and the measurements, and might be off a 1/4 cup of sugar on something, but I detect it through my sleuthenizing. See how it's starting to get belligerent now? Darn it. Pull that thing off. I guess troubleshooting wouldn't be a tough thing to put in the film. Okay, and you develop a strategy for painting on the butter or not. I find mine just kind of varies. Okay, so I got a little bit of little layer there, right? So I'm just going to kind of swag it and just sprinkle a little bit here and there in a somewhat consistent manner. Notice the texture; it's real fine, but I like to leave some chunks. And if it doesn't look right, sometimes I'll just take some walnuts and kind of break them up manually and put them in there. But this would be a pretty good blender job. I tried a new strategy. Instead of taking it out every time I blended it, because 2½ cups takes about 3 to 4 blending sessions. And this one I left it in between those blending sessions, and then used my only bread and butter knife to clean it out, down to the bottom before I let it soak. That's the only dish that's not clean. Oh, there's a couple dry measuring cups. Okay, so there we go. Oh wow, that's neat. What do you do now? Well, you kind of pat it down. That doesn't hurt. Say nice things to it. Hi, got a stove. Spanikitolo, but that to you too. Okay, there. So now this layer, kind of important. You'd be a little bit more, what do you call that? Measured. And it's okay to touch your phyllo. Tell us, where did the mean man touch you on your phyllo? Okay, so boom. Now, so from here on out, it's super easy. So we get the rest of this first half pound. Which, see, it's already getting stubborn. And sometimes you kind of coax it in there, get it nice, and then you can start alternating, putting some, since this sheet is a little bit smaller than the pan. I don't remember using this pan before, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. You know, I'll show you on this next layer. Okay, so no rhyme or reason with the painting. Okay, boom, boom. So you see how that's gravitating. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start leaning it more towards the edge over here. So that's going to leave less space over there. But the next one I'm going to do is one headed that way. And I'll just start alternating it around. Fore and aft, port and starboard. Although the port side, trivial. You know how people try to remember, even people that have been through Navy basic training, how they can remember what is port and what is starboard in case they get asked by a high-ranking enlisted officer who really is looking to ruin their day if they have the wrong answer. Well, port side, left, there's 4 letters in port, there's 4 letters in left. Yeah. And then you can figure out the other side. It's not like genders, there's only 2 of them, left and right. So, yeah, trivial. Anyhow, so this one, I noticed a little bit of slightness on this side, so I cover that, and then now normally on the normal pan that I would be using, I gotta bunch it down like that. Yeah, it's kind of fun though, but not absolutely necessary. I don't really recommend it. This is probably a better way to get a pan that's actually a good size. So here, I don't really have a whole lot of overlap, so I'm gonna go ahead and pretend I got some up there, push it a little bit up on the side of the pan, and then when I get to that point, which I'm almost there, scrunch. Just kind of, it's like a mini jam. Uh-oh, Forrest is grumbling. You gotta wait, buddy. And the rest part goes pretty fast. So, and it's basically what I just did. Here, I'm gonna go. That's 2 layers. It's just my nerves aren't suitable for dealing with it right now. Yeah. Okay, I can tell pretty soon that it's not going to matter right now as far as getting full coverage with the phyllo, because we are to the point where we get our dry ingredients. Now the recipe will say, put half of them down, and then, but all we did, we amended it a little bit. You don't have to, as I like to teach my wife, freelance and change the directions of the recipe or the ingredients or any of that stuff. Yep, I'm not as cheap as I am. I don't save those little itsy bitsy skinny bags. I could probably figure out a way. Ooh, maybe precious metals. Anyway, here we go. Oh. Wrong way. There you go. I tried to make baklava once. Miserable fail. I mean, I chased down the actual ingredients, since, it's just basically wheat. Now, I did use wheat berries that I ground myself. That might have made it not as good, but I don't think so. I think it would have been a fail either way. So here's the last of the nut mixture. Not as good as clank and silver, yeah? So, yep, so now here, I can use any tool, and I kind of try to dig it out. This is going to be I think I have to amend this recipe with this big pan. I think I'm going to switch to 3 cups of whole walnuts, and then, grind those guys down. Move it around, make it even. It doesn't have to be perfect. Trust me, after the first bite, they're not going to care. They're going to be kind of mesmerized under the ether of, could be the sugar, could be the combination of flavors, it could be the greatest baklava in the world. Never know. Alright, so not done with this, but I'm going to need to clean it before I use it again. And when I mean clean, I just mean semi-hot water and elbow grease and rinsing, agitation. Okay, so I can tell already this thing wants to be stubborn, but it won't hurt that I'm putting 2 pieces of phyllo on there. And here I'm going to start tucking it up against the edges because it's a new pan, so you can learn along the way, train, adjust, just like in life, just like in stacking. Oh, I just bought 80 ounces at whatever, and oh my gosh, it's down 0.27% today. Yep, it sure is. Sorry about your luck, but just hang in there. It doesn't bother me when the price of spot goes down, because I never had any plans on selling any of my silver for any of the current Federal Reserve notes. Sorry, thank you. No, I don't want it. Okay, see, it's starting to get a little difficult. So that's not good. I forgot to remind you. Yeah, you could make something out of these things, but I don't bother. I do not bother. Come on, let's see if we can get a little bit of layer off of there. Sometimes you don't use the whole half pound, the final half pound. Come on, you can do it. Come on, there we go, close enough. Now once we got a decent layer down, until we get to the last 4 layers, which are the most important. So look at that, that is a mangled piece of phyllo dough, yeah? Well, I'll just kind of use it along where there's not quite as much coverage because I'm using a different pan. So I just put it down there, kind of patchwork like, yeah? Boom, boom, boom. I think I need to put some more over here. A piece of section now. It's not even a piece. Well, it's a piece. It's a section of a piece. Close enough. Put it on this side. Kind of tuck it in. All right. You're going for a very warm sleep. A nap. Yeah. Good, baklava. All right. Now here you get to kind of jam it in there a little bit. Yeah. Jam, spread, and then butter. Okay, so I'm going to do this without saying a whole lot. I'm going to save these patchwork pieces in case I need them to do some patching. Ooh, that's a little better, much better. Come on, you can do it. All right, do it for Johnny. Do it for Liberty Bleeds Silver. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I mentioned, I don't even know if it's in the camera, I don't know if you can see any of this stuff, but I'm kind of always stirring the butter as I go along. I'm kind of hoping I don't have to melt anymore, but I have at the end had to just a little bit more, maybe a quarter of a stick, a regular stick, if we had sticks. So I just kind of eyeball it, take a spoonful and melt it and see if that works, because once it gets to the point where you're done all this layering and buttering, there's, the stopwatch is over until you put it in the oven and keep track of 350. It's the universal temperature for just about everything that I've ever cooked in my life, baking-wise. It's like test your knowledge. They'll ask you early 19th century, late 18th century question about American politics and who did this and if you don't know, but you accidentally buzz in, always say John C. Calhoun. Another trivial trivia, because sometimes it's right. The guy was involved in a lot of stuff. You could probably Google him and find stuff out. I imagine. Maybe I tell you, he did so much stuff, they might have, what do they call it? Canceled him. John C. Calhoun. I think he was a Southern man. Obviously, I think I abhor organized slavery. And he might have been pro, I don't know, he could have been an abolitionist. I just know that was the answer to use if you buzzed in prematurely and didn't know the answer, had no clue. I guess you could probably be just as safe as saying maybe William Jennings Bryan. There's another kind of an unknown political name, but did a lot of important stuff. I tell you, if he'd have been elected president when he ran against McKinley, I don't think McKinley would have been assassinated. McKinley was from Ohio. I don't know where William Jennings Bryan was from, but he had a very big following. He was, if they had the term back then, he was part of the deep state, I think, by then, or at least the deep. I don't know whether he was a Whig or a Republican or. Yes, I've never really called myself. Well, when I wasn't a voter, I probably would have called myself a Kennedy Democrat because my parents were Kennedy Democrats, and my mom was heavy into the civic duty aspect of voting, and her mom was heavy, and she was a diehard Catholic Democrat, both of them. And so, we had a picture of Jesus and a picture of JFK in the house, in a frame, nicer than any of the frames that held my photos, that's for sure. Anyway, so we're kind of running out of butter. I might have to use some, but oh, got a little anxious there. That's all right. Just grab it from this end, kind of give it a chance to hang out. Do a little bit of manual adjustment over here. Doesn't have to be perfect until about the last 5 layers. Boom. Hope you're watching, Liberty. Doesn't matter. Bunny, my wife's cousin, lives mainland now, lives Arizona, and she mentioned something weird, and she came back to Hawaii for her brother's funeral. Very sad but uplifting. Kind of sounds like an oxymoron, but it wasn't, at least for me. And so, oh man, come on. You're the most important guy. There you go. All right. Great job. And so, and when she was talking a story about her brother, he used to be a world's traveler, and how he would bring back foods from international exotic places. I think he liked Vietnam, Rome, France, maybe, and the Mediterranean, because he brought her back some Turkish baklava. I said, whoa! And then my wife said, oh! So we talked to her about it. Yes, she loves it. She doesn't believe I make the best baklava in the world, and so I'm just going to have to prove it. So these turned out to be real good. This is a little wonky, but I think I'm still going to use it as the top layer. So, all right, so we had just the right amount of butter. I can't really do a Greek accent. Some accents I can do, but I don't know what they are. It's you ever heard about that disease where people wake up being able to speak a foreign language and they've never done it in their whole life? They didn't take it in school or anything like that. I'm like that with accents sometimes. So, all right. So, I'm going to be, I guess, a little gentle. You know what? No, that's beautiful like that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I've had to put aside 6 pieces of phyllo. Doesn't matter. So I want to get it nice and lubed up for the fancy spatula. Because, you know, what am I going to do with 3 fluid ounces of melted butter? I'm going to pour it on the baklava. Is there anything else I need this for before I do this again? Nope. Done. Okay, waste not, want not. Moment on the lips. Forever in your memory as being the best baklava ever. Okay. Butter dishes are no fun to clean. Okay, so wow, it's swimming in butter. That's going to make it cutting it so easy, which I'm going to do right now, because the next part of this process is cutting it into whatever shapes you want. Rectangles, squares, triangles, no rules. All right. That thing's also a pita to clean. So will I use this for food? No. No, I'm not going to say that plastic, although it would be good for, a quick picking up of a rodent or something that has started to bring back again, and that's cool. That's all right with me, especially if he's getting it in my backyard. So do a little, release the air a little bit, give that thing a chance to rest. Hang on, Forrest. And where's my fancy? Oh, that's right. I gotta clean it before I use it again. Okay. Definitely dry it off. I mean, butter and water, they mix a lot of stuff, but not for this. Okay. Oh. The plumber. I am the plumber, but I have permission to plumb. Okay, so depending on your mood or whatever, you could cut it down into half and make nice big long pieces. But I'm just going to do it how I've traditionally done. I'm going to cut it into thirds. How do I do that? Well, maybe I'll cut it into fourths. How's that? See, there's no such thing. See, I'm pushing down on that, and then I'm going to pull up, and I try to catch it, and then just gently wiggle it back and forth. See how the phyllo has kind of gotten gluey from the butter? So just going to do this. This might be why I normally only do this in 3 sections, because I don't care about the retail aspect of it right now in this batch. I'm into the flavor. I'll tell you what we can do. This looks like a little thicker, so I'll cut this like this. There are no rules. There is no such thing as an ugly baklava serving segment. No rules. Oh. One rule is you stay in a straight line. You know, if I was really OCD, like some people I know, my wife accused me of being, actually she calls it anal retentive, I would have set up like a chalk line without chalk. You could probably use powdered sugar in a chalk line. I'd get a new one and, you know, pull it up and then cut along it. But here's what I'm going to do, because there are no rules. I'm going to make this bit pieces as if I cut it in half. Oh, and that's going to be I love the edges. So I'm going to cut these like this. And because this is, even though it's just for personal use, from my cousin, I'm going to kind of envision how could this work out as far as selling it as a cottage food industry home cooked qualifier. So where you don't have to get a fancy license, an expensive license, jump through a bunch of expensive hoops, and get a commercial license. They got this called food cottage industry. You just have to take a 2-hour, and it's free through the state of Hawaii. I didn't have to do that. I had already found one online. Same certificate. You know, the magic temperatures between 35 and, was it 145? That's for, you know, especially meats and things that can spoil. Baklava has a really great shelf life. I'm not sure whether I like it better brand new hot, rested and just warm, overnight, maybe 8 ounces of cooling at kind of almost room temperature, but maybe just a little warmth, or out of the refrigerator. Man, it's really good out of the refrigerator. Never really lasts that long, but we end up putting some in the fridge. So yeah, I'm going to leave that like that. This one I don't normally do the diagonals. It messes with my OCD, self-diagnosed OCD. You know, cure yourself on Google, folks. Okay, yeah, maybe that's what I should have done with the extra butter, but no, just kind of gently. There, okay, so it's great. Boom. So this goes in the oven, this oven takes a while to preheat, but it is at 350 right now, and it's going to bake in there. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's right. The temperature, this is based on the old stove. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can figure out how to raise the temperature. Yeah, good, great. Temperature set, okay, plus. We'll do it 375. But I'm putting it in there. And it's going to bake 30 to 35 minutes. I set my alarm for 25 and start looking at it. I put it on the middle shelf, in the middle of the middle shelf, and equidistant from the back and the front. So it's kind of, what they call it, kind of centered, although that's a rectangle. And so is the oven. So there you go. I won't, this I can use for serve. It's buttered up, but I'm still going to clean it. Spoon, don't need it anymore. And that's it. I'll show you the end product. Again, nothing up my sleeve. This is kind of live. Not done remotely with some famous baker who he's in a union, so can't show his face, right? No, this is just me, Silver Sleuth. Trying to figure out new strategies. Figuring out, man, I'm old again already. Older than I was a couple, 2 or 3 months ago. And so I've decided I have a Lucy Monster box. It took me 25 plus years to finally fill it with, you know, culls and singles and stuff in the bargain bin, and maybe a tube here and there, or half a tube there, or having to buy empty tubes. I had to buy the empty Monster box, and I forgot that I had a goal, and then I met you folks, and about 4 months ago I decided, oh, that's one of the things I can do, and I can make a video about it, and really bore people to tears. But see, I'm going to break it up because I'm going to sell my proofs. 2.5, probably. I don't have another 22 long rifle metal ammo can, so I got 2 and approximately a half's worth of just, I don't know how many, from 1986 to 2000, say 15. Let's just say 16 for argument, but it's not. So 86 to 96 is 10, to 2006 is 20. What did I say? 2000. 9, 96, 20, 96, 2006, 2016, 2026. So that's 40. So there's probably, around 35 or 36 silver eagles. Same size, 1 ounce. Same as the kind that comes in the tube, right? But those boxes, they're nice. Don't get me wrong. They just don't fit into my new revised silver stacking strategy that I've figured out just by hanging out with you guys and gals. I really appreciate all the guidance and inspiration that you've provided. I'm not blaming you. I'm not taking any of what you say as financial advice. I've got a disclaimer in my directions. You can read it that says I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I am who I am, and that's how I've done stuff. And somebody might benefit. I don't know of anybody that's kind of, there's people that's kind of started out just like me, hot and heavy, and then, but they've discovered bars before I did. I never dreamt that old ugly bars would ever be a collector's item, let alone, sometimes worth way more than you could even imagine. But apparently, that's the way it is. You want to learn about bars? There's all kinds of people out there. It's a myriad of free knowledge lessons out there. If you watch enough of these videos and varied videos, idiots like me, and then the old top guys, right? You're gonna figure stuff out. Be yourself. Just grab a little here, grab a little there, put it to your strategy. Something's going on with the camera. I'm done talking. I'll be back after it's done baking for, I don't know, anywhere from 30 to 35 minutes right now, because I forgot to set my alarm on this phone that I'm using as a camera. I'm going to set it for 25 minutes and start looking at it. And I've got this nearly new oven, hand-me-down. It's got a window, and you can turn a light on, and it works. You can actually turn on, because when you open the door, it lowers the temperature. All right, see you in a little bit.